What's going on? What's going on? We are back. Damn, it's time to get dark early. What the hell? Man, I don't know if this is true or not. But, there's word that, Terrence Crawford versus Kell Brooks might be done. Might be pretty much on the verge of finishing that deal. And that it might end up being on the 14th of November. That's their target date. And they're working on finishing up the fight right now. People obviously are kind of upset about it just due to the fact that they want to see him face the best, and people don't believe that Kell Brooks is, quote, the best. Then some people are upset about it, saying that, what do you mean he's not one of the best? Like, everybody was, cramming, hollering at him to fight Kell Brooks last year, or 6 months ago, or whatever it was, a couple of months ago, and now all of a sudden, people are down on it. Well, I think it's two things. It's not as if when people were saying they wanted to fight Kell Brooks, it wasn't that they thought Kell Brooks was one of those top guys out there. It wasn't that. It's that with what Terrence Crawford was willing to give the people, or Bob Arum was willing to give the people as it pertains to Terrence Crawford, that was the best that they had. They literally were already, scrambling and grabbing from the bottom of the barrel. So it's like from everything at the bottom of the barrel, that's the best one that we thought that, that they were, trying to grab. Like, grab that one. But it doesn't mean that people are going to be happy about it. He was still going to get ridiculed, and he was still going to get negativity put upon him because of that. It was the best that could be done from what he was willing to give us. And some might say, some are saying that this is a good barometer. Like, he faced Earl Spence before. We saw what Earl Spence did with them. Let's see what Terrence Crawford, does with them. But again, you can't compare that. When you fight that other person matters. When you fight that other person, it absolutely matters. With Manny Pacquiao fought Marquez, and then Floyd Mayweather later on fought Marquez. When Floyd Mayweather fought Marquez was still top 3 pound for pound, one of the best fighters in the world. When Manny Pacquiao fought him, he was still pound for pound one of the best fighters in the world. It was in the space, and he was still coming off wins when he fought Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather was coming off a year plus layoff anyway. So you could compare them at that point. This is something completely different. Yes, Earl Spence fought him. After Earl Spence fought him, this guy went up to 154 pounds because supposedly fighting at 147 was too hard for him. He hasn't been at 147 for a long period of time. Okay? He hasn't fought, period, for a long period of time. It would have been different if he had stayed active, even if he was in the UK staying active, doing his thing, and he showed he still had the skills. He still was on the same level as he was before. That his face could stay together, all that. Then it would have been cool. Then it would have been like, all right, you know what? Cool. This is a good fight. Let's see it. It's a good barometer. But we have no idea what's going to, show up in that ring. And even in his last fight, he looked, sus a little bit. And it was still he's fought a long time ago. And he literally has not been at 147 pounds for years. And now all of a sudden he's going to drop down to only to 147 pounds. And now it's supposed to be some kind of barometer? Absolutely not. We don't see him as being anything remotely close to being what he was before. And people are not going to just close their eyes to the fact that there have been all these other fighters who have been stepping up in that, period of time saying, fight me, that are top fighters in the world that he's just been saying no to and has made no effort whatsoever to fight. Sean Porter is a barometer, would have been a barometer. Sean Porter, who just fought Earl Spence, who some believe that knockdown is what won Earl Spence the fight. He lost nothing in that fight. If he had fought Sean Porter again, if he had fought Earl Spence again, That fight does 350,000 plus 400,000 pay-per-views all day. So he literally lost nothing when it comes to cred as a fighter, or when it comes to the financial side as well. Nothing. It would have been that would have been a good barometer. Actually, not only on when it came to him fighting a common opponent with Earl Spence, that's still at the top of his game, but also financially. That's because that should be also a pay-per-view. Crawford versus Sean Porter would have been a pay-per-view. Then we can see same level fighter, same level fighter that you're fighting. Let's see what you can do, not only skill-wise, but what you can also do at the box office, what you can do at the gate with them, what you can do on pay-per-views with them. We could gauge everything with that fight. That would have been a good barometer. This, no, that's not what this is. The best we can hope for is, I don't know, that, or some remnants of the Kell Brooks from before shows up. That's it. That's all we can hope for, that shows up. Then we can see what's up. Then we can possibly get something. But that's our only hope. That's our only hope. But if you had faced somebody like a Sean Porter, if you had faced someone like a Keith Thurman who just literally, if it wasn't for that knockdown, he beats Manny Pacquiao. Only one loss. And in that loss, like I said, if it wasn't for that knockdown, he wins that fight. Or at least gets a draw or whatever, and he gets to go home with his belt still. Something like that could have been. But Ugas, who has his hand up saying, me. Ugas fights Kell Brooks right now. Ugas is the favorite in that fight. Because not only can Ugas bang, he can box. Olympian. He can box. He'll box around you. He can, a lot of different things that he can do on the side of a ring. That would have been even a better fight for us to have looked at. So there was options out there, from top to the bottom. Let's be Ugas. You had options. They had options out there, but what we're getting is Kell Brooks. That's what we're getting. So it's a fight where I guess people are going to accept it, because at least from the bottom of that barrel, at least we're getting the best from the bottom of the barrel that he was willing to give us. But people are not going to be happy about it. And yes, people are still going to complain. Because of all the options that were available that he was willing to give us, off the rip was shit anyway. But we'll see if this actually gets done, because a lot of quote fights are supposed to quote be getting done, and none of them are. So we'll see. But for now, like, subscribe, share. I'm out.